The power of happiness. It was a cold, rainy day when everything changed. The sky cried heavy tears as if it had lost all hope, and I sat alone in my small room, feeling the weight of every sorrow that I had ever known. My heart was tired from too many disappointments, and I could not remember the last time that I smiled. Little did I know that on that very day, I would learn the secret that would forever change my life: the power of happiness. My name is Emma. And for as long as I can remember, life had been a series of grey mornings and lonely nights. I would wake up each day to the same routine, the same empty apartment, and the distant feeling that nothing good would ever come my way. I often believed that happiness was a distant dream, reserved for others and not meant for someone like me. That rainy day, when the sound of the drops tapping on the window felt almost like a soft melody, I decided to take a walk. I did not have a destination in mind. I just needed to get out and breathe. As I stepped outside, the cool raindrops touched my face, and for a brief moment, I felt something warm inside. I wandered through my neighborhood until I found a small park, its paths glistening under the rain. In the park, life seemed to unfold in unexpected ways. Children laughed and splashed in puddles, couples huddled under shared umbrellas, and even strangers exchanged friendly smiles. In the midst of all this, I noticed an old man sitting on a wooden bench beneath a large and leafless tree. His eyes twinkled as he watched the rain, and his gentle smile made my gloomy day a bit brighter. I felt drawn to him, as if he carried a secret treasure that could light up even the darkest of days. Curiosity got the better of me, and I sat beside him. The old man looked at me kindly and said, "My dear, why do you look so sad on a day like this?" His voice was soft but full of warmth, and something in his tone made me feel safe enough to share my troubles. I told him about the endless worries, the heavy loneliness, and how I felt stuck in a world of darkness. He listened patiently, nodding as if he understood every word. And when I finished, he said, "Happiness is not something that happens to us by chance, something that we create from within. I've learned that even on days like these, a smile or a kind word can make the difference." His words were simple, yet they struck a chord deep within me. I asked him, "How can I be happy when everything around me feels so heavy?" The old man smiled even more and said, "Look closely, Emma. See the beauty in the raindrops, the laughter of the children, and the kindness in the eyes of strangers. Happiness is all around you. It's not about waiting for a big miracle. It's about noticing the small moments of joy that life offers each and every day." Those words echoed in my mind as I left the park. I began to see the world differently. Every day I started to notice the little things: a warm cup of tea in the morning, a kind smile from a stranger, the bright color of a sunset. I even began to keep a small notebook where I wrote down every moment that made me feel even a little bit happy. Over the next few weeks, I made it a habit to find something beautiful each day. One morning, while walking to the grocery store, I saw a young girl sitting on the curb, tears streaming down her face. I knelt beside her and asked if she was okay. Through her sobs, she told me that she had just lost her favorite toy. Remembering the old man's words, I spent some time comforting her and even helped her search for the toy. And when we found it, her eyes lit up with joy. And at that moment, I felt the powerful warmth of happiness in my heart. That small act of kindness became a turning point in my life. And I realized that happiness is not something you find, it's something you create. And I began to look for ways to spread that feeling to others. I smiled at strangers, helped neighbors with their groceries, and even started volunteering at the local shelter. With every act of kindness, I discovered that happiness grew stronger, not only inside me, but also in the hearts of those around me. Soon, my friends and family began to notice the change. I was no longer the quiet or withdrawn person they had known. I was cheerful, open, and hopeful. They asked me what caused the change, and I told them about the old man in the park and the simple truth he had shared. Happiness is found in the small, everyday moments of life. I shared my notebook, filled with little notes of joy, and soon others began to see beauty in their own lives too. One evening, while sitting by my window and watching the rain, I thought about how life is like a puzzle. Each smile, each kind word, each small moment of gratitude is a piece of that puzzle. On days when everything seems dark and uncertain, these small pieces can come together to create a picture of beauty and of hope. I began to understand that true happiness is not a fleeting emotion. It's a deep and lasting state of being that comes from within. It does not depend on having more money, a perfect job, or a flawless life. Instead, it's a choice, a decision to see the good in every day and to hold on to hope even when times are tough. There were still challenges along the way. Some days were still hard, and sadness would sometimes try to creep back in. But I learned that even on those days, I could choose to focus on the little things that brought me joy. I found that a simple smile or a kind word had the power to lift my spirits, even in the midst of despair. As time went on, I came to see that the power of happiness was not just about my own well-being. It was about the impact I could have on the world around me. By choosing happiness, I was able to spread that light to others. And every time I reached out to someone in need, every time I shared a kind gesture, I was adding a little more brightness to a sometimes dark world. Looking back, I realized that the greatest lesson life had taught me is that happiness is a gift we can give ourselves every day. It's not something to be chased or found in the grand events of life, but in the simple moments we often overlook. The power of happiness lies in its ability to transform our perspective and to help us see that even in the darkest times, there's always something to be grateful for. Now, when I face a difficult moment, I remember that rainy day and the kind old man who taught me that happiness is a choice. I remember that even on the darkest days, there's always a spark of light waiting to be discovered. And I know that no matter what challenges come my way, I have the power to create happiness for myself and those around me. The power of happiness is a lesson that continues to shape my life. It reminds me that life is full of small miracles and that true joy comes not from what we have, but from how we choose to see the world. By embracing the simple beauty of everyday moments, I found a strength and a hope that no hardship could ever take away. And so, I live each day with a grateful heart, knowing that happiness is not a distant dream, but a constant companion. The power of happiness is real, and it's available to anyone who is willing to look for it, share it, and let it shine. If you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what kind of story you want me to cover next. Cheers.